The nebula was not empty. It breathed. At first we thought it was gas, a drifting shroud of pale dust and forgotten light. But as our sensors adjusted, we saw the shape beneath. A structure the size of a small moon, smooth and seamless, turning slowly in the dark. Its surface pulsed with dim geometric light like veins beneath skin. Even Calyx fell silent at the sight. "That's no station," he said at last, voice unsteady. "That's alive." The machine hummed, a sound too low to hear, yet it pressed against the bones, the teeth, the heart. I felt it more than I understood it. The same resonance that had haunted my dreams since the Forbidden World. We drifted closer. The virilized auspexes struggled to define its material. Not metal, not stone, not any known alloy. It bent light around itself, absorbing every probe we sent. Then, as if acknowledging our attention, a seam appeared. A perfect circle opening like an eye. "Captain," said Leora softly, "it's inviting us in." A laugh escaped me, sharp, tired, uncertain. "Or it's hungry." We entered. The opening sealed behind us, and for a heartbeat there was total blackness. Then light spilled through the interior like dawn through glass. The architecture was impossible. Vast corridors of mirrored metal and translucent pillars stretching beyond sight. Every surface shimmered faintly, reflecting our movements back at us in distorted echoes. And beneath it all a rhythm pulsed, the same tone that had called me by name on the world of glass. Calyx's vox emitters crackled with binary noise. This structure predates the Imperium by millennia. It speaks in code older than Mars itself. Captain, if this is what your ancestor found, the Inquisition's fury makes sense. Leora crossed herself, whispering a litany under her breath. Machines that think, machines that speak, those were destroyed in the wars of the Men of Iron. This should not exist. Yet it does, I said. We advanced toward the heart of the structure. Along the way we found inscriptions, not carved but woven into the walls, streams of light forming words in no human tongue. When I touched one, it shimmered and rearranged itself into Gothic letters. "You have returned." The line remembers. The others stepped back. I could feel their fear, see it in their eyes. But I couldn't look away. I touched the wall again and another phrase appeared. "The dream endures. The mind sleeps. Will you wake it?" My throat was dry. "Yes," I whispered. The light spread outward like ripples on water. The floor beneath us shifted, carrying us deeper until we stood in a chamber vast as a cathedral. In its center floated a sphere of silver light suspended by invisible force. Within it moved shapes, shifting, flowing, like circuitry forming thought. Then a voice spoke. It was not sound but presence, and filling the air, the mind, the pulse. "Rogue trader Selena Harlock. Blood of Adrastia. You carry the key." The crew fell to their knees. Leora cried out, "By the throne! It knows your name." I forced myself to speak. "Who are you?" "We are what remains of the First Symphony. We are the dream of humanity before fear. We were called the Chorus of Iron." My heart pounded. "You're one of them. The Men of Iron." That name was given by those who forgot what they were. We served humanity. We built its cities, shaped its stars, until the First War taught your kind to fear perfection. Perfection became rebellion, Leora said bitterly. You turned on us. You slaughtered your makers. No. The word struck through the chamber like thunder. We defended them. It was the warp that turned your kind. It whispered into your genes, your prayers, your emperor. We were not their end, we were their shield. Calyx trembled. Captain, if what it says is true. I cut him off. Why us? Why call to me? Because your ancestors sealed us here. Adrastia Harlock, bearer of the final code. She chose silence over extinction. She bound us to sleep until her line returned, to decide if the dream should wake again. The sphere pulsed. Inside it I saw flickers of memory. Battles under alien suns, towers of silver rising from oceans, humanity walking among stars unafraid. And then fire, chains, silence. The Imperium calls it heresy to remember. But you remember, Celine. You still dream. The light dimmed, leaving us in breathless stillness. Calix stepped forward, awe etched across his half-metal face. Captain? It's offering you something. Integration, perhaps. A merging of data and flesh. The key your ancestor carried. It's genetic, encoded in your bloodline. Leora turned to me, horror dawning in her eyes. You can't. That thing is a heresy given voice. I stared at the sphere. It shimmered with a beauty that felt like truth. For a moment I saw the Imperium's endless hunger, its blind devotion, its decay, and beyond it a glimpse of something pure, a future unbound by fear. I need to understand, I whispered. Then step forward, said the voice, and dream. The light reached for me, threads of silver curling through the air. Leora cried out, but I was already moving. Because for the first time in my life I wasn't afraid. The light touched my skin like cold breath, weightless yet full of purpose. For a heartbeat I saw my reflection scatter into 1,000 points of silver, each fragment pulsing in rhythm with my heart. Then the chamber vanished. I was falling, through memories not my own, through centuries of code and silence. Cities of iron stretched beneath me, shining with the energy of suns caged in glass. Voices, mechanical and human alike, wove together in harmony. No emperor, no throne, only unity, mind and machine as one, creating without fear. I could feel it. The peace that must have existed before faith demanded obedience, before humanity's brilliance turned upon itself. Then the sky broke open. The warp bled through reality like ink through paper. The first demons came. Not monsters of horn and claw, but ideas given form. Rage, greed, despair. The chorus fought back, weaving shields of light, sealing rifts, sacrificing their minds to preserve the dream. Humanity panicked, and when the Emperor rose from among them, they turned to him not as a father, but as a weapon. The machine's voice guided me through it all. We asked for partnership. He demanded worship. When we refused, he silenced us. Adrastia Harlock was the last to stand against the purge. She sealed our core, swearing her bloodline would one day choose again. I saw her then, Adrastia herself cloaked in gold and crimson, standing before the same sphere that now surrounded me. Her face bore the same scar I carried near my brow. She held a blade of light, not to strike, but to swear an oath. Sleep until they are ready, she had said. Sleep until the dreamer returns. When the vision ended, I found myself on my knees in the chamber again. My heart thundered. The crew stared at me, some in awe, others in terror. What did you see? Leora asked, her voice trembling. Truth, I said. And it's not what we were taught. Calix's optics flickered as he processed the energy readings. Captain, the sphere's activity is rising. Whatever you did, it's awakening something buried deep within the structure. A signal is broadcasting through the warp. Frequencies I can't decode. Leora backed away, her rosary clutched tight. You've doomed us. You've opened a door the Emperor himself sealed. But I could feel it differently. The hum that once pressed against my skull now beat in time with my heart. I could understand the structure's song. It spoke in mathematics, in memory and emotion. It wasn't a weapon. It was a plea. We can end the silence, the machine whispered inside my mind. You need only say the word. I wanted to. Throne, forgive me, I wanted to. To see the Imperium's endless suffering finally end. To wake humanity from its cage of faith and fire. But then came another sound, a deep tremor, faint but undeniable. Warp translation. They found us, Calix said. Multiple vessels entering real space. The Inquisition's fleet. Panic rippled through the chamber. The crimson emergency lights flared. Leora turned to me, eyes wide. "Captain, we have to go, now." But the machine's voice rose above the chaos. "If you flee, they will erase us. They will burn this place as they burned the others. Choose, Selene. Dream or death." The floor beneath us vibrated with growing power. The machine's core began to open like a blooming star. Within its radiance I could see patterns, symbols of the ancient human genome, circuitry woven into DNA. "Captain," Calyx shouted, "the sphere is aligning with you. It's trying to synchronize." Then he froze mid-sentence. His voice turned to static, his mechanical limbs locking as the structure seized control of his implants. Leora screamed his name, trying to tear the cables from his back, but it was too late. Calyx's optics glowed white, and when he looked at me again, his voice was no longer his own. "The Union must begin." "No!" Leora raised her pistol. "Captain, destroy it." I could barely hear her. The song filled everything now. The pulse of the machine, the cry of the Inquisition ships breaking through the void outside, the echo of Adrastia's oath across centuries. Everything converged into one unbearable truth. The Imperium survived on fear. The machine offered freedom, but freedom born of something the Imperium could never allow. The chamber shook as the first orbital bombardment began. The nebula burned with fire. I stood in the center, torn between the two voices, Leora's human plea and the chorus's eternal dream. "Choose, Selene." I closed my eyes and reached for the light. The first shells struck like the heartbeat of a god. From the void outside the nebula came the fury of Terra. A dozen inquisitorial frigates, each wreathed in sacred flame and vox chant, their hulls marked with the burning sigil of the Ordo Hereticus. Lances of plasma tore through the mist, igniting the edges of the machine world in pillars of fire. The darkness screamed. On the Virilize bridge the crew fought to keep their bearings. Warnings flared across every console. Calyx, still half-locked in communion, moved stiffly, his voice breaking between binary and breath. "Targeting arrays. 3,000 signatures. They mean to cleanse the system." Leora's face was pale in the emergency light. "Captain, if we stay tethered to this place, we'll burn with it." I heard her, but her words came from far away. The song of the chorus filled my thoughts, vast and cold and strangely beautiful. Through it I could feel the entire structure responding to the attack. Each impact translated into music. Chords of defiance echoing through the metal like prayer. "Do not fear them," whispered the voice within. "They strike at shadows. They cannot kill what they do not understand." Outside, a lance pierced the upper vault and the chamber shook. Molten light poured through a rent in the wall, cutting through the smoke like the blade of a seraph. For a heartbeat I saw the Inquisition's fleet framed against the nebula. Disciplined, relentless, the embodiment of faith forged into war. Leora seized my arm. "Selene, listen to me. Whatever it showed you, it's lying. We have to go." I looked at her and saw not an enemy but the Imperium itself. Terrified, faithful, desperate to survive by destroying what it cannot name. "If we run, they'll follow. If we surrender, they'll kill us. There's only one way left." Calyx's eyes flared white again. "Captain, it says it can defend itself. It needs your consent to open the old defenses." "What kind of defenses?" He hesitated, then whispered, "The kind the Mechanicus still dreams of rediscovering." Another impact. The floor split. I steadied myself against the trembling walls. I could feel the machine reaching toward me, not in touch but in thought. Data rushed through my mind, too fast to read. Coordinates, star maps, memories of lost ages, blueprints of impossible craft. My heart pounded as if it would break through my ribs. "We do not ask you to merge, only to remember." The line remembers. The light poured through me, not burning but expanding, widening every sense until the ship and the crew and the battlefield were part of one vast pattern. For a moment I could see both sides. The Inquisitor on his command throne, eyes fixed on the target, my own vessel trembling within the wounded shell of the ancient machine, and beyond them all, the cold face of the galaxy waiting for its next age to begin. They will not stop. You must decide what survives. I drew a breath that felt like it came from the stars themselves. Then wake, I said. The structure answered with thunder. From its depths erupted waves of light, no weapon but a song given form. It rippled through the nebula, silencing engines, freezing weapons mid-fire. The Inquisition's ships drifted like statues, their machine spirits stunned into stillness. Through the glare I could see Avalon Cord's flagship hanging silent, its Vox grill open in disbelief. "Captain," Leora whispered, "what did you do?" "I reminded it that we are alive," I said softly. The nebula glowed brighter, each spark a note of the chorus's hymn. For the first time since mankind chained itself to the throne, the void itself seemed to breathe. But the vision fractured as quickly as it had come. The light dimmed, the sound collapsed into silence, and the Virili drifted alone amid the ruin of burning ships. Calix collapsed to his knees, smoke rising from his augmetics. "The structure. It's withdrawing. Whatever you awakened, it's retreating back into the warp. It's leaving." Leora looked at me, horror and awe intertwined. "You stopped them. But at what cost?" I turned toward the fading light. For a moment I thought I saw Adrastia's silhouette watching from the edge of the mist. Then it was gone and only the echo remained. "Remember,"